Well, hello, we couldn't have the class because of the problem that we had with, but we'll check the assignment together. As we had already mentioned, we use the past symbol to refer to an event that takes place at a specific time in the past. And of course, we use the present continuous to refer to a temporary event that is progressed in the present time. In a similar way, we use the present perfect to refer to a state or action that began at some specific point in the past and is true until now. Now, about the present simple, we use it to refer to something that is generally true. We'll normally use it to, to state scientific or true facts. Whereas, on the other hand, we use the past continuous to refer to an action that was in progress in the past when something else happened. And finally, we use the past perfect to refer to a past action that occurred before another past action. So we are going to solve some exercises in which we have to use the correct tense. Let's begin with the first text. Now, this is a little biography of Nikola Tesla, a very famous inventor. Let's read it together and I will show you the answers. You can check with your own assignment and verify that your answers were correct. Let's start. Not many people have heard of Nikola Tesla, who played a key role in creating the alternating current or AC supply of electricity we have in our homes today. Early in his career, Tesla worked with Thomas Edison. He had emigrated to the United States of America from Europe in 1884. While Tesla was working for Edison, they had an argument over payment for an invention. So Tesla decided to work independently. It was then that he developed a motor that could produce an alternating current. Throughout his life, Tesla continued to conduct experiments and helped to develop X-ray radiography and wireless communication. There is no doubt that he has had a large impact on modern technology. Many of the gadgets that we enjoy today would not have been possible without Nikola Tesla. So these are the correct answers. And of course, in number one, you use the present perfect because there is something that may be true in the past, but maybe could change in the present. That means that if you haven't heard about Nikola Tesla before, you will hear from this screen. That's why we use the present perfect. In the second one, number two, of course, we talk about the past because he played a role. We're naming something that happened in the past, a specific action that is done. So we use the past simple. And in number three, we use the present simple have because it is true. It's a fact that we are mentioning, so we have to use the present perfect. Here is the second exercise. In this case, we have to underline the correct words to complete the text. So I am going to read it and I'm going to show you the answers and I want you to verify that you got the correct answers on your assignments. Here we go. The other day, I was walking down the street when I saw Sam Carter, the famous film director. I was really excited because he has been one of my favorite directors for ages and I watch his films all the time. What is he doing here? I thought to myself. There was only one way to find out. Sam was going into a cafe, but I stopped him before he got inside and said, "Hi, Sam." He smiled at me and started to talk outside. Me and Sam Carter. He always looks so serious in photos, but he's a really friendly guy. In the end, Sam invited me for a coffee. Then he told me why he was in town. His film company were making a new film and they have lots of new faces in it. Just ordinary people. But they need some more. How about you? Sam asked. Have you watched any of my films? Do you want to be in one? I was so shocked that I dropped my cup on the floor. The hot coffee went all over Sam. He screamed and ran outside. I lost my big chance. Okay? So these are the answers. Verify that you got the correct answers. And if you have some questions, we will talk about this on Wednesday. Let's look at the last exercise. In this exercise, we had to complete the sentences with the correct forms of the verbs in the box. Now, the tenses that we're going to use are the present simple, the present continuous, the present perfect, the past simple, or the past continuous. Let's see. The first exercise is done for us. John is working in a small marketing agency at the moment. Okay, so we use the present continuous because we're talking about a specific moment. Now, let's look at question number 2. You ever anybody famous? Because we have the word ever and we have anybody famous, we know that we need to use here the present perfect and say, have you ever met anybody famous? Let's look at number 3 now. What, you, and the answer is I'm a student. So we know that we need to use the present simple. What do you do? I'm a student. So this is the way in which we ask somebody about his or her occupation. What do you do? Let's look at number 4. Shakespeare plays poetry and thousands of words in English come from them. So here we're talking about the character in the past and we're talking about what he did. So we know that we need to use the past simple, right? Shakespeare wrote plays in poetry and thousands of words in English come from them. Let's look at number 5. Our friends for dinner but had to cancel because they were ill. Okay, so in this case, we know that the friends did not come for dinner. So in this case, we need to use the past continuous. Our friends were coming for dinner but had to cancel because they were sick. Now, number 6. Not many people her well now. The keyword is now, so we know that we need to use the present simple. Not many people know her well now. Let's look at number 7. He was rich and famous, but he many friends. So in this case, we can see that we're describing this person in the past. He was rich and famous. And in this case, of course, we know that we need to use the past simple. He didn't have many friends. Now, let's turn to number 8. The game, yet. There are 5 minutes to go. So, in this case, because we have the word yet, and we know that the game isn't over yet, we know that we need to use the present perfect. The game hasn't finished yet. There are 5 minutes to go. Now, number 9. Things slowly worse in the office now that Mrs. Andrews has retired. When we look at this sentence, we know that there's something that happened in the past. Mrs. Andrew retired, okay? And then something happened in the office. In this case, again, we know that we need to use the present perfect. Things have slowly gotten worse in the office that now that Mrs. Andrew has retired. Okay? From the moment that she retired to the present time, things have gotten worse. Now, if you see, I show you 2 forms of the past participle of the verb get. This is because in American English, the past participle of the verb get is gotten, gotten. But in British English, the past participle of the verb get is got. Okay, so you can use any of these forms. If you use got, that's British English. If you use gotten, that is American English. Now, let's look at the last question, number 10. It's a great idea to go skiing while we've got some snow. It is obvious here that we need to use the present simple, right? I think it's a great idea to go skiing while we got some snow. Okay, so these are the answers to the exercise. Please verify your homework, make sure that you have the correct answers and you understand why the correct answer is that way. And remember, if you have some questions, we'll be discussing them on Wednesday. So I will be seeing you next Wednesday, and let's hope that this time we're going to be lucky with Zoom, but I'm going to prepare another plan in case Zoom doesn't work. Okay? See you on Wednesday then.